Hello, everybody. I'm Barbara Hoffman, and I'm here to help you today with your weight issues. That's right. I want to help you lose 20 pounds, and I'm going to tell you how to do it in about 20 minutes. And also, if you want to lose more than 20, I can help you with that too. And if you want to lose less, we can go there as well. But 20 is about what people tell me when they call on the phone, although a lot of people have told me they've gained between 10 and 40 pounds since menopause and perimenopause. And the shape of their body has completely changed. They have fat accumulating around the stomach, the buttocks, the thighs, and it's all happened without changing eating habits. That's right. You didn't do anything different, and all of a sudden that muffin top is appearing. What's happening? Well, it's estrogen dominance. I know you've all heard me talk about that. We don't need to go into the estrogen dominance because why back up on that? What we're going to think about today is how to get rid of that spare tire or the muffin top. And I'll tell you something. If you're out there and saying, oh, Barbara, there's nothing you can tell me because I've been dieting and nothing happens, well, that's the problem. It won't happen with diet alone because it's a combination of the hormones and the neurotransmitters in the brain. If you cannot take weight off, even though you're using your nice progesterone cream or you're on a good bioidentical hormone, and you can't take weight off, even though you're just eating minimal amounts of food, that's because estrogen tells the body to store fat. So every time you're eating, your over-estrogenized body is saying, store it, we may need that later. Now, progesterone is thermogenic and says, burn that fat. We need that for energy. But if your estrogen is your dominant hormone, and in today's toxic society, that's pretty normal, then your body just pretty much shuts down. And by the way, metabolism decreases 10% almost every year after menopause. So it's not your fault, and that's where I'm going to help you. Now, if you're not on a progesterone cream, and you all know I'm the progesterone queen, progesterone triggers a metabolic response in your cells that says burn the fat or food for energy. It acts as a natural diuretic and reduces bloating, and it regulates insulin. So that helps you with normalizing blood sugar, which is another thing we're going to talk about in a little bit. Normalizing blood sugar keeps you feeling good so you don't have a feeling to binge or go off your diet plan. And that's what we're calling this. It's a diet plan, not a diet. It's a way of life, and I'm going to help you. I have everything available after the 20 minutes where I'm going to run through all the principles. You can call me, email me, text me, send a smoke signal if you want to. I've got everything prepared that you can have as a handout. Also, you can call my office because I want to be your diet buddy. And if you've listened to one of the previous shows, my Stay Off Sugar series, I did help my husband recently lose over 35 pounds. And the principles are going to be the same for you, and it's not going to be a slow process, but it may be a little bit slow for you because you're sick and tired of the weight and you want it to disappear, but it's going to be steady. And what you're going to say is, when you get up in the morning, I am not going to gain another pound today. So there we've got you locked in. Wherever you are right now, you're locked in. You're not going to get up next week and you're a pound up, and next month you're 2 pounds up or 3 pounds up. Okay, we're nipping it in the bud. Then we're going to start shaving off the weight, and I'm here to tell you how. Okay, many women that I talk to are using estrogen without progesterone. Now, if that's you, if your doctor has you on the estradiol patch and you're feeling pretty good about it because you've heard me say estradiol is normal or natural and you know it's natural, no. The reason you're on estrogen without progesterone is you don't have a uterus, and your doctor has decided, since you have no risk of uterine cancer, you don't need the progesterone. But think about it, ladies. If estrogen without progesterone is nasty enough to give you uterine cancer, why would you be taking it anyway, even if you don't have the risk of uterine cancer? You don't want that. That will make you gain weight. Also, if you're on oral estrogens, they can cause weight gain. I like transdermal. If your bioidentical hormone dose is too high, you will gain weight right around the middle. So we want to be watchful for that. Okay, so your hormones are very important as far as what you're taking and how you're taking it. Now, if you've been faithfully on a progesterone cream and you have not lost weight, then it can be your neurotransmitters. Your neurotransmitters may be out of order, and we can fix those. How do they get out of order? Stress and a poor diet and toxins in the environment. They affect the brain. The neurotransmitters give the messages in the brain, and if the message path gets mixed up, guess what happens? You get cravings. You get impulsive. You get compulsive. These are not good things for your weight control. And neurotransmitter disorders lead to weight gain and obesity across the board. Now, let me just tell you the three main neurotransmitters that are responsible for helping you lose weight or keep your weight normal. Number one is dopamine. Dopamine disorder, if you're low in dopamine, you're going to have belly fat. You're going to be an impulsive overeater. In other words, you're not thinking about food all day long, but if you walk by food, oh my gosh, you happen to walk by a bag of potato chips somewhere that was in your house that you forgot you had, you'll sit right down and eat the whole bag. You weren't thinking about potato chips, but now that you saw them, it's all over. Okay, constant snacking. Craving carbs. And the kind of carbs you're craving, if you're low in dopamine, are chips, pasta, white bread, and some sweets, but basically those basic white carbs. Okay, so if you're low in dopamine, there's a really good supplement for you to take. It's called L-tyrosine, and it's one of my favorite. I take L-tyrosine every single day. And I have all this in a handout, so we're not going to go too much on that. I want you to just stay with me on the steps. Okay, next, serotonin. Normal serotonin is key. Listen carefully to this one. If you're low in serotonin, you're going to have a depressed mood. You're going to crave sweets and carbs, but more sweets. Poor sleep, and you are a compulsive overeater. You are sitting at your desk, you're working on a project, there's no food in sight, and all you can do is think about food. What am I going to have for lunch? What am I going to have for dinner? What am I going to have for my snack? Gee, I want to go buy some Oreos. It's compulsive. You can't stop your brain from going down that path. That is low serotonin. You are going to want carbs with every meal. You crave salty snacks. Some people like pickles, olives. You crave chocolate. You'll get up and eat in the middle of the night. You overeat at night. You don't eat so much in the morning. At night, you will raid the refrigerator all night long, and you're especially looking for high-carb snacks. You'll get up in the night to eat, and you think about food all the time. You might have some muscle stiffness and weakness also, and most people are not interested in sex. They would rather eat when they have low serotonin. Okay, and that's easy to fix. How do we fix it? 5-HTP. All right, next, final one. If you're low in GABA, you overeat. GABA is a kind of an anxiety. Low GABA is an anxiety state. So you eat to feel balanced. You are doing emotional eating. You have a second helping at every meal. If you go to a buffet, you cannot just have the one plate. You have to go back and back and back. Or you could eat a whole box of cookies in one sitting. People that tell me, Barbara, I sat down with a tub of ice cream and ate the whole thing, I know you need GABA. You would eat off someone else's plate when you're done with your own. And you always order dessert. If you go into a restaurant, you already know you're going to have dessert, even though you might not be hungry for it. These are signs of GABA deficiency. What do we do for GABA? We take a GABA supplement, and I can tell you some really good ones. Okay, so now we know we need our hormones to be in the right shape and form. We need our neurotransmitters to be in order, not out of order. And I have a quiz. It's the hormone brain weight connection. You can go on the website and take the quiz, and it'll tell you what you need. All right, now getting on, if we can fix those two things. And you say, well, I'm already doing that, Barbara. You've talked to me on the phone. You've done a little consult with me, and I'm still having problems. Okay, let me ask you this. Are you chewing your food at every meal? That's right, chewing. For breakfast, I don't want you having oatmeal every morning for breakfast because you don't really chew oatmeal. And by the way, the chewing has to be between 14 and 20 times a mouthful. 14 and 20 times. It's hard to do, but guess what the chewing does? It releases the digestive enzymes. If you don't chew, your enzymes don't know to come out and digest that food. So I've talked to many of you, and my hat is off to you. You are juicing up a storm. You give me your recipes, and I mean, it's incredible what you are actually making in the morning. Fine. You go ahead and make it. You put it to the side, and you have that at 10 o'clock for your snack, but not for your breakfast. You need to chew your breakfast, and your breakfast needs to consist of protein. Protein is also key. Serotonin is key. Protein is key. When you increase protein, you regulate insulin levels, and that's what's going to help you with the weight loss. And that's what I tell people over and over. My one favorite question is, first of all, how are you doing with your weight? And then I hear your story, and then I say, well, what do you eat for breakfast? If I had the penny for every time someone told me oatmeal, it would be, I don't know, I guess I don't know what I would buy, but I'd be able to buy something very, very nice. Okay, so no more oatmeal for breakfast. If you want to have oatmeal, I have a solution. It's coming up in about 3 minutes, the solution for eating oatmeal, so don't get discouraged and hang up and be mad at me. You can have your oatmeal, but we've got to do something extra to it. Okay, there's ideas for your breakfast in my Good Mood Diet plan. I can copy those out and give them to you. Forget thinking of breakfast foods. You want to think protein. And I've given you my little tips. I'll give them to you if you call on the phone. I'll email them to you. I get up every morning and I eat turkey breast. My husband, I made chicken breasts, and I'm a condiment gal. I have in my refrigerator, the whole sides of the refrigerator are filled with mustards and little spreads and things like that. So I have a plain sliced turkey with some dressing or some mustard, and I'm in heaven. And guess what? I have the same thing every day. You don't have to be that creative. And if you can't think of anything or you're traveling, get a slice of cold pizza, and that's a great breakfast. It's got a little protein, carb, and fat. Okay, what about jump-starting your week? Protein Mondays. On Monday, you get up in the morning and go, today's my protein day. That's what you're going to eat all day long, protein. Be a little careful with the protein bars. They have a lot of sugar in them, some of them, but there's a brand called Atkins, which is really good, very low sugar. And so your protein Mondays. So you can play around on the weekends. Do your diet plan Monday through Friday, any day with an S, Saturday and Sunday, you can play, and then do your protein Monday. I guarantee you're going to start making progress on your weight plan. And what have we not talked about right now? We haven't talked about diet. Why? Because this is just your plan for eating and how you're going to eat, and you can incorporate it with your family, and I'll tell you how to do that also. Sleep. There's a whole gamut of websites, things that people are writing books about how to get the right amount of sleep and sleep your weight off. Well, guess what? This morning, I'll tell you why. Sleep lowers cortisol levels. Lower cortisol levels mean more balanced hormones. The more balanced the hormones, the less stress and the less cravings you have. Cravings are a big one. And when you're low in serotonin, you're going to have cravings. And there are some really good products that help with cravings. So if you need help with that, give me a call, because I understand that I had a pasta craving for many years. So when you sleep, you increase melatonin, you lower cortisol, which causes belly fat, you stimulate human growth hormone, which raises metabolism, and sleep blocks excess estrogens from binding to receptors. So there you are. You're walking through life. These estrogens are bombarding you from all over the environment, and you've had great sleep, and your receptor sites are saying, no way, you are not welcome here. Move on. Those estrogens do not bind. Okay, next one. This is how you can have your oatmeal. I'm very excited to tell you about a new discovery. It's got a little brand name. It's called PBX granules. And what it does is it adds fiber to your food in a great quantity. And I absolutely love it. I've actually got my staff all loving it as well. We actually can't wait to have it every day. It's a little packet. You open it up. There's granules, completely tasteless. You can put it in your oatmeal in the morning. It plumps up that oatmeal to turn it into a fibrous, thick, rich taste. It's almost like a rice pudding. And I put it in the Greek yogurt, and you stir it around, and within 2 minutes, your Greek yogurt is no longer soupy. It's something you can eat with a spoon or a fork even. The product stabilizes your blood sugar and adds the fiber. The optimal dose of fiber that we want to lose weight is 30 to 50 grams per day. And guess how much most of us get? 15 grams. So here you go with your one little packet. And I have limited samples, so if anyone's interested, call me and I can pop one in the mail to you. But this is not an expensive product. Putting it in the Greek yogurt with a little handful of blueberries, or I cut up a nectarine, or you could cut up an apple, or you can get a low-sugar jam from the market, like a spread, and mix that in and put the fiber. It's delicious. And I prefer you have that for your snack and have your protein in the morning for your breakfast and your yogurt and PBX for your snack. I have good ideas for family dinners. You can have your same little family dinners, but for you, you're going to just segue a little bit away from the mainstream of what they're eating. You're not going to eat potatoes. You're going to, if you have a salad, you're going to put your protein on top of salad. You can get that pre-bagged stuff. I did that for a year with my family. When they were eating their dinner, I would take the protein and put it on top of that pre-bagged lettuce. And I was so happy with that. I put a little Russian dressing and some balsamic vinegar and mix it all up. There's roasted vegetables. I have a great recipe for that. If you add the big fat mushrooms and you don't cut them, those taste like protein. There's something you can get a head of cauliflower and slice it into 1-inch thick pieces and saute it in a pan like a steak. It actually tastes like meat. It's fabulous. Now, I'm not just giving you all Barbara's ideas, although this comes after talking to over 100,000 women about their hormones and their weight, but recently I went to a conference with a very famous doctor in the United States who lectures at all of the anti-aging conferences. Her name is Pamela Smith, and she has written a book, Demystifying Weight Loss, Solving Your Weight Loss Puzzle, and guess what she said you should be on? And the reason I'm telling you this is I kind of going to pat myself on the back. She said progesterone, GABA, 5-HTP, and by the way, your hormones have to be transdermal, exactly what I told you. There's also another thing that she likes called PEA, which I have, which is kind of the equivalent of giving your brain a piece of chocolate because you get very content. Another supplement that I like for most people, unless you have a history of cancer, is DHEA. And DHEA boosts hormone balance, regulates the thyroid, increases testosterone, enhances thermogenesis, which tells your body to burn the food, increases serotonin, stabilizes blood sugar, and counterbalances cortisol. So DHEA is 5 minutes? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was rushing. I thought I was down to 1 minute. Okay, so here I go back. Sorry. So DHEA can reduce abdominal fat and is predicted by many experts to eventually become a very potent weapon in the battle of the bulge. Well, isn't that what this all is, the battle of the bulge? There was a study that was done It was published in the Journal of the American Medical Association. So these are the mainstream doctors. You know how they sometimes don't like to give any credit to anything that's in God's pharmacy, which DHEA is. They published the study, and participants in the study who received DHEA experienced significant losses in visceral and subcutaneous fat. The women lost 10% of their visceral fat, and men lost 7.5%. Actually, the women lost between 10 and 11%. And those who received the placebo gained small amounts of each kind of fat. So there's your next and final hormone is DHEA. So what I want to tell you is to call me if you need more help. But think about what we discussed. We discussed having hormones in the right balance, hormones in the right form. Then going to the neurotransmitters, take the quiz. Do you need serotonin, GABA, or dopamine? We're going to fix that, whatever it is. You're going to chew your food, every mouthful, 14 to 20 times. You're going to change out your breakfast from oatmeal and juicing, if you're doing it, to something that's high protein. You're going to do your protein Mondays, and I highly support you to do that. I did my protein Monday yesterday, and I was happy as can be. You know, once we get into routines, we women and men, I suppose if you're listening, you would agree with us, we like routine. We've been doing it. If you've raised children, you've had routine for how many years? So get that into your protein Monday. Sleep. Get your good sleep to keep the melatonin high, cortisol down, lower the belly fat, raise HGH, block those estrogens. Get the granules, put them in your food. If you want to drink them, you can put them in water or juice. I just think it's so much fun to put them in wet food. Anything wet, you put those granules in, and away you go. And I have the limited samples. You're going to think about DHEA if you don't have a history of cancer. Okay, now here's the other thing I want to tell you about dopamine, which we talked about. And I wanted to explain why we get excited about food. We were meant to get excited about food. Did you know if we do a little MRI and we look at and we have a contrast material in there where we can color the parts of the brain that are lighting up? The brain lights up at the very promise of food. The reward center of the brain. If you just suggest food to someone, that lights up. Why? Because God did it that way. Food is necessary for survival. We're supposed to get excited about food and run out and get some, but it should be healthy. The same reward center lights up when people, drug addicts see cocaine and alcoholics see alcohol. That same little center lights up. Well, if your neurotransmitters are out of order, your reward center is lighting up like 24/7 if you even see a picture of food. Okay, so what do we do for that? That's the dopamine, and that's the L-tyrosine. You can take that 10 o'clock in the morning, 2 little tablets, and away you go. So call me if you need help with that. There's a handout that I have of how to eat if you have adrenal fatigue, which many of us do. I just got back from a big conference on adrenal fatigue, and I'm telling you, it's an epidemic. I've got the handout on how to eat. You eat within 1 hour of waking up. You have your protein. Cereal's not a good choice because it's actually a carb, and that's the other thing about oatmeal. It's a carb that turns to sugar. Eat your lunch early. Don't have a 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock lunch. 11 to 11:30 is the really good time for lunch if you have adrenal fatigue. So at least try to eat between 12 and 12:30. And have an early evening meal, and then you have a high-quality evening snack. And I have this all written out, and there's some foods that are listed on there, and what good proteins to eat, and your vegetables, and I will have that for you. Now, I think I've done this in the 20 minutes, and the reason I did it fast is because I want you to get it in your brain that there's a way to do all of this that doesn't involve you starving yourself and eating celery and olives and crying and looking at other people eating and being sad and then getting on the scale the next morning and not losing a pound. I know how to do it. I know how to help you. I've helped thousands of women. And the reason I got involved with it is, believe me, when I was 22 years old, I started dieting, and I was on a series of brutal diets for 8 years because a boyfriend called me chunky. Well, You're probably on that series because you've looked down and you've seen a body that you don't recognize. Well, I'm here to tell you I can help you with that. So call me, email me, text me. I have some copies of the Good Mood Diet Plan. I sent it to the printer. It came back. There were some pages that didn't meet my standards, and the printer told me to keep them, and I have them. So if you want to get a copy, you can call and say, Barbara, I want to have one of the bad copies. It's only a couple pages, and they're very legible. They're just not my standards. Okay, so remember, weight gain and weight loss are governed by the brain. Supplements will help you. They will help you raise your metabolism. They will help you stop cravings. They will give you portion control. Diets do not work because it does nothing to reestablish the neurotransmitter balance in your brain or the hormone balance, and you will just feel like a failure. So the key to weight management is in balancing your brain chemistry and your hormones, chewing and sleeping, and fiber. So call me. I want to help you. God bless you. Thank you for listening. It's my honor to talk to you.